It's been a very important topic that we're addressing this morning, because when it comes to transportation sector as a whole, inland waterways plays a key role. Many communities are living along waterways, and we have also raised this morning that we have to 28 states that are affected. Right, and the Nigerians are beginning to respond to this conversation by way of tweets, and it's important that we take a look at what some Nigerians are saying with respect to this conversation on Good Morning Nigeria. Well, from Dele Jack Solomon, the Nigerian inland waterways' huge infrastructure deficit has thrown up opportunities for investment in virtually all physical infrastructure and resources extraction in the sector, and improvement in the institutional structure and features of inland water system.
This is from Mike Anyakwo. Mike Anyakwo tweets, national development, that is imperative. And inland water transportation is a viable avenue for the movement of goods and services, especially for those living in the creeks and waterlands. And governance can also be fast-tracked to those communities.
Now, Awunuji Joshua says there is great economic potential in Nigerian inland waterways. I personally prefer using inland waterways, but without proper management, sad stories, including deaths, could be the case, just as road transportation.
All right, we have this other one coming from Dele Jack Solomon, and it says, this is Dele Jack Solomon. What is the Ministry of Water Resources and NTA doing regarding the quality of our waterways? Now, residents living along these ways, especially in Lagos, Port Harcourt, and Calabar, must be sensitized with regard to sanitary issues. I must learn how to desist from dumping refuse and other abuses. Well, the question, of course, would not go to NPA, it will go to NIWA. That's from what Senator Mamora has clarified, that inland waterways are the responsibility of NIWA.
All right, now from Chris Simeon, this sector has a lot of decays. It needs rejuvenation.
And Uche Gabriel, now the state of inland water transportation in Nigeria is low. Now the Inland Waterways Department of the Federal Ministry of Transportation would not appear to have achieved much in the years of its existence. Well, that's the reason why we are discussing the topic, to see how inland waterways transportation can be ramped up significantly. You Engineer Emmanuel Lore, you were raising a very valid point with regard to how to enhance safety on our waterways, first by removing the wrecks and derelicts, and then what to do with the wrecks and derelicts. Is there an understanding in the subsector of the immense opportunities that lie therein with regard to what is required to be done, on the one hand? That's one. Secondly, why does it appear that a number of government entities focus more on revenue generation, when the level of business activities, has not been accentuated to such a level that, in fact, when you now begin to deal with much higher numbers, the issue of chasing after the small businesses will not be one that will be of immediate concern. In other words, when you deal with higher numbers in terms of more businesses, then the revenue will come. But the primary focus will always appear to be revenue.
Well, that's a national problem, and that's probably the way we can define our nation. We always look for the small gain when we do not see the big picture. And then it comes back to the issue is, what is our national interest? Where do we place our priorities? Obviously, from what we have been discussing, it can be shown that we have not addressed the issue of inland waterways transportation and its importance to our socio-economic development. It's as simple as that. All that we are talking about now is, these are all derivatives of that question. So it means that we need to go back to the drawing board, one, to have the political will to implement the necessary technical solutions to make the inland waterways very viable.
All right, thank you. Time is not on our side at this moment, but let's come back to Senator Mora. Engineer Laurie has mentioned here several times that we have to go back to the drawing board. But now you have explained that the government has the will now to move that subsector forward. Now, what is the way going forward? What are your immediate priorities to see how we can return inland waterways back to a viable situation?
Well, you've had the issue of the political will coming from government, so which also encourages us. Now, I mentioned to you that we are pursuing very vigorously the amendment bill before the National Assembly. We are conscious of the fact that if that bill is not quickly passed and you have the 2019 appropriation bill coming to the National Assembly, every other thing is going to take the back burner. Secondly, for the fact that we are also moving into electioneering, government activities are likely to, undergo some lull. So we have that at the back of our mind. That's why we are pushing for it to get it passed, because it's going to help us a lot in achieving some of the things we want. Two is to increase our advocacy and awareness for the various communities, especially where we have area offices, and we encourage them. I've been going around, visited quite a number of our area offices to see, firsthand what the challenges are. And one of the issues is these operational vehicles for them to even carry out their activities, which we're also trying to address. Three is that we are increasing this PPP thing. Some of investors from within and outside of the country, they're already coming to have engagements with us, and we are looking at how best we will have not just what they are bringing, but that would be in tandem with our own goals and objectives as newer and in line with our the national transport policy of this country. Of course, we are reaching out to even our sister agencies, NIMASA, NPA, and reduce the areas of conflict, and of course, with the view to collaborating, not competition. We're collaborating in the interest of our people. And of course, we are seeking the understanding of our supervising ministry as well, that's the Ministry of Transportation, to help us also, that is part of the political will that is needed, because as the supervising ministry, it's in position to also ensure that we all work in harmony.
I'm just wondering, what is there maintenance dredging of the River Niger currently ongoing?
Yes. Yes, there is. There is. In fact, we met with some group that is also interested in doing some additional dredging for us along some other routes, apart from River Niger.
All right, okay, River Benue is there. That's a big capital dredging in the first instance. It's on that note, gentlemen, we'd like to thank you for being part of our conversation this morning. Engineer Emmanuel Ilori, maritime expert, thank you for being with us on Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
And our appreciation also to Senator Olorunnibe Mamora, Managing Director, National Inland Waterways. That's NIWA, the authority responsible for inland water transportation and related matters in the country. Thank you for being with us on Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
So that does it for our conversation. Let's go over very quickly now to our sports desk.
Nigeria